Right guys, so today, welcome back to another video. Now, before we start the video, I'm going to do another shameless plug to my merchandise, which is going out on Friday, the 11th of August at 6 PM. I'll leave all the links to everything you need to know down in the description. They'll be on the top lines, all the Twitter and Instagram, so you can go and follow them. Also, I'll leave a link to the website when the website is actually launched on Friday, so you can go and buy them. There's 2 t-shirts going out, they're both limited edition, so get your hands on them while you can. Without further ado, this video, as you probably can tell by the title, is a little bit of a different one. I'm not doing a football challenge for once, but instead I'm going to be doing my Premier League predictions. So throughout this video, I want everyone to know that basically the 20 teams and everything I say about them or to do with them is obviously my own opinion. Everyone has different opinions, so maybe I might say something about a team and their fans might not like it, so just know that it's an opinion. And yes, hopefully you enjoy the video. Let's try and smash 3,000 likes and let's get on to 20th position. So no one likes to finish last, but someone obviously has to, and for me, in my opinion, it is going to be a newly promoted team who was actually the 3rd team to come up along with Brighton and Newcastle, and that is Huddersfield. Probably the main reason for me thinking they're going to go down is because they came up below Newcastle and Brighton and haven't really seen them do much in the transfer market. That goes for a lot of teams I'm about to talk about, but yeah, Huddersfield just, like, don't get me wrong, they might surprise me and they might not get relegated, but yeah, in my opinion, I feel as if they're going to finish 20th. So moving on to 19th and 18th position, obviously them 2 teams will get relegated with Huddersfield. Now me personally, I believe that Burnley is also going to go down. I'm going to go out on a limb. In 18th position, I'm going to put Swansea, and that is just going to go on the fact that if Sigurdsson, however you want to say it, goes to Everton or anywhere, I feel as if Swansea may struggle. Sigurdsson is like sort of their main catalyst to the whole team. They've built the team around him. He obviously gets a lot of goals and assists for them. I feel as if without him, the team, unless they obviously bring someone else in which is similar to his style or a very good goal scorer, then I feel as if they will get relegated this season. So the first team that will just miss out on the relegation place is Brighton. Now I'm probably being a little bit optimistic. I don't support Brighton, but I live near it and obviously I want them to do well. It's the first time Brighton have been in the top tier league or the Premier League in a long time, so I want them to do well, but I feel as if they'll just scrape it by being in 17th place. Obviously brought in a few signings. Izzy Brown from Chelsea. There's 2 other ones. There's a Scottish bloke, but I feel as if they probably need to do a little bit more strengthening. I feel as if it will be a toss-up between Brighton and Swansea of who actually does get relegated in that 18th spot. Brighton need to do some more strengthening with that money they got from getting promoted. I feel as if they need to bring in some more bigger name players. Obviously not like spend millions and millions, but they definitely need to bring in some bigger players. So at 16th is where I'm going to be placing the Championship champions, and that is Newcastle. I feel as if they'll do alright. I mean, I've not heard too much about them. Obviously Rich Beck is a Newcastle fan playing for #with me. I'm not sure what his opinions are on where they're going to finish in the league, but I haven't seen them make too many signings. So just reading up on a few facts about Newcastle, and apparently Rafa Benitez is actually unhappy with what they've been doing in the transfer market. So that leads me to believe that they will stay up, but by the skin of their teeth. So now moving on to 15th, 14th and 13th. In those positions, I've gone for Watford, Stoke and Crystal Palace. Now, again, reading about Watford, apparently they've agreed to sign Andre Gray from Burnley. Now that further maybe proves my point that Burnley are going to go down. Andre Gray was a very good striker for them last season. So obviously if they lose him, then they haven't really got the strike power that they had last year. Watford are a club that maybe are a very mid to bottom of the table Premier League team. I feel as if they were to go down to the Championship, they do what Newcastle did and win it quite easily. But when it comes to the Premier League, they're just not quite cut out to, you know, play with sort of the top half of the table. Same goes with Stoke and Crystal Palace. Same goes for Stoke and Crystal Palace. I feel as if they're just not quite cut out for that top half of the table. But they are the type of clubs that will beat the better clubs on their day. And, you know, when it's a rainy day at Stoke, you do not want to go and play them with their type of football. They probably can beat near enough anyone in the Premier League when it's their right conditions and yeah, at their home ground. It's a well-known fact that no one likes to play on a rainy day away at Stoke. Now, in 12th and 11th is where I'm placing Leicester and West Brom. So Leicester obviously won the league, not the year just gone, but the year before, and nobody was expecting that. Now, I feel as if it was pretty obvious that last year they were not going to recreate what they did the year before that. They had a very, very good run in the Champions League, actually being the furthest English team in the competition. So something to be proud of. Obviously, probably we're not going to see another like fairy tale story like that again with a team who went from being nearly relegated the season before and then the next season winning the league. Probably never ever going to see that in my lifetime again. I feel as if they're a very mid-table team now. There's obviously speculation that they're going to lose Mahrez this year. Jamie Vardy obviously didn't have as good of a season last year, so I feel as if they're probably going to have near enough the same season as they did last year. Actually a little bit worse, because I'm pretty sure they finished higher than 12th, but teams above them obviously have reinforced their ranks and spent a lot of money on squad rotation players, even first team players, whereas Leicester, I'm pretty sure, haven't really done that. Moving on into the remaining 10 places, this actually is classed as the top half of the table. Now in 10th, I have Bournemouth. Eddie Howe is a quality young manager, and in the last 2 seasons they have done very well in the Premier League, considering they haven't really got a lot of money to spend in every window that comes up, but they're a very good club in the league, and I feel as if they're Liverpool's bogey team. But other than that, I feel as if Bournemouth will finish 10th, and anything higher than that I believe is absolutely quality for their season, maybe even pushing for a Europa League spot. Imagine if Bournemouth got Europa League. Now in 9th position is where I'm going to put West Ham. I feel as if 9th would be actually a very good finish for West Ham, considering the teams above them have spent a considerable more amount of money. Although don't get me wrong, West Ham have brought in reinforcements, and I feel as if they probably could do a little bit better than 9th if they fulfil their full potential. Obviously just 2 names off the top of my head, like big signings, Joe Hart and Arnautovic have come in, so I feel as if I'm going to be sensible in what I say and not be horrible about West Ham. Obviously Jacko is a West Ham fan, so I don't really want to go to the next game and get my head ripped off, but I feel as if 9th for West Ham will be very good, and anything higher than that will be a successful season. So 8th, Southampton. Now this was quite hard for me to justify why Southampton were going to finish above West Ham. And I feel as if West Ham could probably go above Southampton. Southampton are always one of those teams that they always start well and they're always very consistent, but a bit like Man United last year, they never really seem to actually get anywhere. When it comes to beating the big teams, they can't really do it, but they'll always beat the teams that matter. So they'll always beat the people in the relegation battle, and they'll get the points where they need to. They never really fight in for obviously like top 4 or anything. Southampton and West Ham could obviously maybe switch places, but 8th is where I'm going to put Southampton. The remaining 7 teams obviously getting into the very big names, and this is where I struggled, to be honest. 7th is where I'm putting Everton. Now they have spent big this summer. Before they obviously lost Lukaku, which is a big hit to them in my opinion. They've splashed out 25 million on Michael Keane, 25 million on Jordan Pickford, 24 million on Davy Klaassen. They've obviously brought in Wayne Rooney, to name some of the bigger signings, so they've definitely reinforced their squad. But is that enough to get them a Champions League spot, which I believe is what their sort of main aim probably is, or even get into the later, further stages in the Europa League would be good for them. I feel as if they've been very smart and bought very well in this year's transfer window. Maybe they could be getting some other signings in the future. Obviously the window doesn't end for a while, but 7th is where I'm putting Everton. This could be one of the most controversial things that I will say in this whole video. And in 6th position, I'm going for a team that at time of recording is the only, from my knowledge, is the only team in the Premier League yet to buy a player in this year's summer transfer window, and that is Tottenham or Spurs. Now my dad is a Spurs fan. He probably won't like to hear this, but in my opinion, if they do not buy and maybe not even spend a lot of money. They've obviously got Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Eriksen, and they're very smart about how they work their wage system and all that. It's not really interesting, but is that enough to compete with the likes of obviously Man City, Chelsea, Man United, who can afford to go out there and spend 70, 80, 90 million on a player and bolster their team? For long, if Spurs carry on not winning things, is Dele Alli, Harry Kane and that gonna want to stay there? Because sooner or later I feel as if a big team is going to come in for Harry Kane, and obviously then they're without a striker. That is just in my opinion. I love Spurs. I think they're a great club. They've got an English spine to their team. Obviously losing Kyle Walker was a big hit. A lot of people don't actually like him, but obviously I thought he was quite good. He was obviously a very attacking right back. But Pochettino obviously backs Trippier and is putting him in the starting lineup, not even buying another right back. He's going straight into the team. So fair play. He's obviously got faith in his players. He does need to get a few players, maybe some squad rotation players or someone to fill in for, I don't know, an older player. I might be wrong, but I just feel as if the 5 remaining teams who are above them have gone out and bought a player who can impact their squad, or maybe get them that extra 5-10 goals a season that they need to climb up the table. Okay, so in 5th position, pains me to say this, but I'm gonna put Man United, my beloved Man United, in 5th position. Looking at their pre-season, obviously you can't really go off pre-season too much because you've got Man City battering Real Madrid like 4-0, but obviously we've gone out, bought Lukaku, 70 odd million. Arguably one of the best purchases this year, Matic, for about 35, I think it was. So we have reinforced, and if you look at our team now, it is very good. But everyone was scared of playing Man United. No one liked going to Old Trafford and playing Man United because we were winners. Now I feel as if everyone, it's just like, oh, it's just Man United. You know, it's like we don't have that fear factor that we used to have. We don't play exciting football anymore. We don't counter-attack really. We don't look to score goals. At this moment in time, I'm going to put us 5th, and a little bit of me thinks that I'm putting us 5th to hopefully then, if we finish above that, then it is a win for me. So in 5th position, I'm putting Manchester United. The big boys. Top 4, the Champions League spaces. In 4th, I'm putting Liverpool. Pains me to say this, obviously, as a Man United fan, a little rivalry, but I like Liverpool. They're a good team. They obviously lost out on the title a few years ago, but Liverpool brought in Mohamed Salah, who looks a changed man from when he was at Chelsea. The main thing about where they finish is the main man, Coutinho. Will he stay or will he go is the big question. If he stays, I think they're a contender for top 4. If he goes and they don't bring in a valuable enough player or a big name player, then I think they could slowly slip down, because Coutinho is such a vital player to that team. He pulls strings, he scores goals, gets assists. Again, like Sigurdsson does for Swansea, but obviously on a bigger scale for Liverpool. In my opinion, he will stay, but only for one more season. So 4th place is Liverpool. Now in 3rd place is where I'm going to put the Community Shield winners, and that is Arsenal. Now, Arsenal obviously have made a big summer signing, and that is Lacazette. Now Arsenal's problem in the past few years is that they didn't have that Thierry Henry figure of a person who could score goals, get you 20-25 goals a season. They didn't have that in their locker, but now they've got Lacazette. I feel as if they can contend for that title again. They've got a good enough back 4. They need to stay fit. They need to get Koscielny back to fitness. Probably need to buy another centre half maybe. But other than that, I feel as if Ozil and Sanchez stay, they have got a very good title contending team. 3rd is where I'm putting them. Top 2 was actually quite easy for me to pick. In 2nd place, I'm going with last year's Premier League winners, and that is Chelsea. I just don't think Chelsea, or any team for that matter, can or should, with the amount of money that Manchester City have spent, be able to compete with Man City. Last season they didn't have the Champions League to worry about. A lot of people say adding them games makes it harder, but we'll see. Obviously that means, as I said, I'm predicting the winners of the 2017-18 Premier League season will be Manchester City, and there's not a lot of people that probably won't put City at the top. The amount of money that they've spent on their defence alone is pretty much a joke. Obviously 50 million on Kyle Walker, 50 million on Mendy. Spent I think it was about 35 on Danilo. They're just throwing money around. It's a joke. Pep probably needs to win something this year. He obviously didn't win anything last year, and that's the first time I'm pretty sure he hasn't won anything in the first year of a club. Looking at their team on my laptop, their strength in depth is a joke. They've got Aguero, Jesus. I feel as if will be a vital part to Pep's team. Yeah, I feel as if no one can compete with Manchester City. They're just too good for their own good. And it will honestly be probably a little bit embarrassing if they don't go on to at least win the FA Cup or League Cup, because that team is next level. So without further ado, that does end this video. On screen now is my final predictions, going from Huddersfield in 20th to Manchester City in 1st. As I said at the start of this video, everything I said is my own opinion. Make sure to leave down in the comment section how you think the Premier League will finish. And at the end of the season, I will be sure to do a reaction video on what I thought and how the teams placed. So I'll leave all the links to my new merchandise down in the description. Friday 6 PM, make sure to go over and get a t-shirt and tweet it to me. I'll be very, very thankful for that. That is going to be the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.